While the global elite meets in Switzerland, the international anti-poverty group Oxfam says the growth in the wealth of the world's 5 richest people, they're all men, has more than doubled since 2020. That's how rich they've got. While around 5 billion people have been left poorer. Oxfam also says that a billionaire is running or owns 7 of the world's 10 biggest companies. Anthony Kamande is Inequality Research Coordinator at Oxfam International. Anthony, good day to you. You say inequality's really increased since 2020. Obviously, that was during the start of the pandemic. The pandemic is over now. Are we still seeing inequality widening?
Exactly. We are still seeing the inequality widening. Of course, we had the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, but after the pandemic, we have had the inflation as well as wars, the impact of climate change, all of which have really pushed inequality up. But of course, it's the poorest people who are at the bottom who have been hit the hardest by this increase in inequality. But as you rightly put it, the billionaires, the ultra-rich, are becoming richer and richer each day. So inequality is increasing because of all the challenges that the world is facing at the moment.
What kind of influence do these men have? They're running the world's biggest companies. They're not doing it for the 5 billion poorest people.
They have a massive influence, whether it's the food that we eat, whether it's the medicine that we buy, the phone that we are using, even this computer, the TV that we are using. They have massive influence when it comes to, controlling our lives, controlling our economy. So I would say that they are controlling almost every aspect of our economies, as well as all aspects of our life. Because if you're talking about food, about medicine, including education as well, because what we are seeing at the moment is the rising privatization of essential public services like education, like healthcare, like water, all of which are being privatized for the benefit of just few people, while the vast majority of us, the poorest people, women, men, girls, are being hit the hardest by this, the rise in the privatization of essential public services. And I would add not only that, rich people, billionaires, as well as their mega corporations, are paying very little in taxes. We have seen over the past couple of decades that the corporate tax as well as the taxes of the richest people has been on the decline over the past couple of years. And what that means is that governments do not have money for spending on education, on healthcare, as well as on other basic infrastructure that could dent inequality, that could dent poverty the greatest.
So when this happens, are you predicting then that because of the conflict we see, because of the climate change that we're experiencing now, that this inequality will continue to widen? These guys are going to get richer and the rest of us won't.
Yeah, unless something is done, urgently, we are going to see a rise in inequality, as well as in suffering, if the governments are not going to do something to rein on these super rich people, as well as their corporation, because these super rich people, as I mentioned earlier, they have these big corporations that they are using just to enrich themselves at the expense of everyone else. So if nothing is done, of course, we are going to see a rise in inflation. But I would add that we still have time to do the right thing, to work on those goods and services that would benefit the poorest people, those people who are at the bottom, the women, the most, increasing the taxes on the corporation of these rich people, governments providing social services like education to every kid would at least make sure that we are diluting this increasing inequality. But unless that one is done, of course, we are going to see the suffering. Many people are going to die. What is going to increase, but just a handful of people are going to see their wealth increase massively.
What steps would actually work to reduce inequality? Governments find this very difficult. It's always difficult to take on a rich person, Anthony, as you know. What steps would reduce inequality?
Yeah, it's not that difficult, I would say. It's very simple. If the governments were to take their responsibility seriously, if our governments were to be accountable, we can be able to reduce inequality. Look, For example, governments have been saying that, especially here in Africa, they don't have money. So if they are able to tax the rich people and their corporation sufficiently, they can be able to get money for spending on those essential as well as basic services and goods that, of course, could bring this inequality down. So they do have tools, they do have the means of reducing inequality, especially taxing the rich people, making sure that they are providing essential services to everyone. Health should be, it's a human right, should be provided free of charge at the point of use. Government should also make sure that they are reining in on these corporations to make sure that they are working for the benefits of us all. And how are they going to do that? They should pass laws as well as legislations that protect workers, that would ensure that these mega corporations are actually protecting our planet. At the moment, what we are seeing that there's a lot of talk about the green transition, but it's not really a green transition. It's just a new term that these rich people, as well as their mega corporations, are using to hoodwink us. But if the governments want to come up with proper regulations to streamline these corporations, to make sure that they are paying their taxes, to make sure that they are also paying their workers well, that of course would go a long way in reducing inequality, as well as making sure that these corporations and rich people do not continue damaging our planet. So at the moment, we have these people, they are mega corporations who are contributing massively to the impact of climate change, but they are not being impacted. The poorest who are being impacted are the most. So if the state, if the international community were to come together and come up with policies that would make sure that these corporations, as well as their rich people, are contributing their fair share, of course, we can massively get inequality and make sure that we are living within our means.
Anthony Kamande, thank you. Inequality Research Coordinator at Oxfam International. Do appreciate the time.